BookTube, it's Samantha, and I'm doing a book haul. So as you know, I'm stuck in this apartment, and as things are going, it's looking like it's gonna take longer and longer for me to actually have access to my books. So the books that I brought with me, which 5 books, 6 books, it's not enough. I've already read 2 of them, and then the other 2 are manga bind up, so they literally take me like 3 hours to read the whole bind up. So I needed more books, but I am low on funds, so I decided to go to Book Outlet, and I got a great haul. So I wanted to share it with all of you. They're all so exciting, I don't know which one to start with. I'm just gonna go through my pile. I will say I already opened the box, so I just want to kind of share with you. First book is Chronicles of the Black Company by Glenn Cook. From what I understand is that this is a bind-up of 3 novels in this one book. To be perfectly honest, I really don't know much about this book or this series. I just know that it is fantasy. I know it's more of a darker fantasy, and it's pretty well beloved from what I'm seeing from reviews. The back doesn't really give us much. It says, darkness wars with darkness as the hard-bitten men of the Black Company take their pay and do what they must. They bury their doubts with their dead. Then comes the prophecy. The White Rose has been reborn somewhere to embody good once more. And that's it. That's all we get. I'm curious. I really want to read this. I am excited to get into this. Probably not this year, but definitely beginning of next year. Next 2 books I'm going to talk about, I'm going to share both of them because they are from the same series. And I don't know the name of the series, but it is Sparrow Hill Road and The Girl in the Green Silk Gown, both by Seanan McGuire. If you guys haven't figured out, Seanan McGuire is becoming one of my favorite authors. I did a review of Parasite by Mira Grant, which is Seanan McGuire. That's her other writer's name. So I was looking for more books from her and found this awesome series. So I bought the first 2 books because they were available. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the summary of Sparrow Hill Road because this is the first book. Girl in the Green Silk Gown is the second book. From what I understand, we are following this girl named Rose Marshall who is living in 1952 in Michigan. And she comes across this guy named Bobby who sold his soul in order to live forever. But as a cost to living forever, he needed to take Rose's life. And it says here, trouble was he didn't ask Rose what she thought of the idea. So it's 60 years later, she's still 16 years old, and people have seen her around. She has different names, such as the Phantom Prom Date, the Girl in the Diner, the Girl in the Green Silk Gown. But she basically goes hitchhiking as a ghost. So it sounds like she's trying to get Bobby so that she can take revenge on him. I'm excited about this. I'm really loving the cover. And I'm really curious to see how this goes. So those 2 are added in the pile. This book, pretty sure Samantha from Thoughts on Tomes talked about this, and that's what put this book on the radar for me. I saw it on Book Outlet and thought it would be right up my alley. So decided to give it a shot. As you can tell, it's a hardcover, so it's like in pristine condition, which is awesome. And that's To Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. What I understand is that it's like science fiction and that it's supposed to be this really big world building epic story taken over time. That's what I remember from Samantha's review of it. I remember she had a really hard time summarizing it, and the back is just little blurbs. I really don't want to read the inside cover because sometimes that can be spoilery, but I'm just really excited about it. I really am attracted to those stories that happen over a long period of time. I am trying to read more sci-fi, so I'm curious to see if this is going to go over my head or if it's going to be just right. So we'll see. When I did my ghost video, one of you guys had suggested that I read Ghost Story by Peter Schraub. I said that it was on my radar, and I really should read it because I know that it's one of those classic ghost stories of today's age. And so guess what I picked up? Ghost Story by Peter Schraub. If I'm still in the spooky mood, I might read it before the end of the year, which that's quite possible. I'm always in the mood for Halloween. But I am excited to get to it. I will say, I did try reading this book a while ago, and I only read the first chapter. And I didn't say anything about it because I feel like I've always had a feeling that I didn't give it a fair chance because I only read the first chapter, and what I remember from it was that there was this guy who had kidnapped a little girl and they were in a motel, and it was a little triggering for me at the time, and I just didn't want to pursue that kind of storyline just for the scare. I didn't know where it was going. So I am farther along with my healing process on that. So I am going to give it a solid shot. Now, if I'm getting triggered, I might just put it down and just say that's that. But I honestly want to give this a good shot because there are a lot of good recommendations about it. People say it's scary, so let's do it. This book I'm super excited about. I've been wanting to read this for a while, and I couldn't justify buying it, but I wanted to own it so bad. And now I could justify owning it because I got it on the Book Outlet. Look at that. I've never had a book that had is it called gilded edges where they're painted? I think it's gilded. And that book is We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. As you guys know from my Vlogtober series, I have found a new love in Grady Hendrix, and I absolutely love music and rock. Having horror and rock combined into one book, and the fact that Grady Hendrix wrote it, I am so much more excited about this book than I was when I first knew about the book. And then when I got the book, like literally 5 minutes ago, I opened up the hardcover. Isn't that freaking gorgeous? Oh, and it has little coffins on it. Okay. Let's see if I can get them on the, let's see. You see the little crosses? And then it has little coffins too. Oh my God. That's so cute. Oh my God, the writing's backwards. You can actually read it, but it's backwards. Okay, I'm not gonna read it though. I don't want to spoil myself, but the writing actually is legible because I read, it says at the bottom, it's the sky. So, okay, excited about that one. Oh, and the inside's bright blood red. Next book, last book. I have known about this book for a while, and what's really interesting is I was looking for this book when I found House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski. But this is the book I was looking for, and because it's so unique, it's really expensive. Like I'm looking here, it's a $40 book because it has extras with it, which I'll get into. So when I saw it on Book Outlet, I got this book for $9.68. How can you say no to that? It definitely is used, which it says that. So I'm hoping everything is with the book. I'm a little worried about that, but the book is S by J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorst. This is really interesting because this is a outside like slip cover, and here's the book. And when I first opened this, I saw the spine, and it says Ship of Theseus by V.M. Straka. And I'm like, did I get the wrong book? Did I get ripped off? And then it has this library sticker on it. And I mean, it legit feels like actual library sticker. It's not printed into the spine. So I looked at the back cover, and sure enough, it says, like, as part of the description for S, the book, Ship of Theseus. So this went to detail about making this the actual book, which is why I found House of Leaves, is because they're very similar. So from what I understand is that the story S is about this woman who picks up the book that was left behind by a stranger. She starts reading it and she makes some notes in the margins as she's reading. And obviously it was a library book, so she returned it and she picks it up again, and this other stranger, this other person who's checking out the Tale of Theseus book, or Ship of Theseus book, is writing notes back to the woman. So they're having a conversation in the margins of this book written by Straka. And maybe it's Straka. I don't know. This writer of the book, he's famous for being one of the greatest mysteries of the time, and no one really knew anything besides what he wrote in the book. And people don't know if it's actual truth, or if they're just things that he made up, if it clears up any rumors about his tales on the sea. So that's really interesting. I like the mystery aspect of it. And then when you open up the book, what I love about this is if you've ever picked up a really old book, like a hardcover from like the 70s or something, that's what this cover is. I don't know if you can tell. You see how it's kind of grainy? That's the feel of this book, and I've always loved that feeling of a hardcover. I've always loved the older style of books. But anyway, so you look in here and you can kind of see there's something in there. So this is what I was talking about when I was saying I hope everything's in here, because that's not what was left behind by someone else. It's part of the book. So there's pictures and writings, and it looks like postcards and articles. And then at the very back of the book, it has this, which looks like some kind of decoder. Yeah, it's definitely a decoder, but I don't know how to work it. Let's see if you can see. There's, in the red line, you can't really see it, but they're really small letters. And then along the edges, you can see it says like north, south, east, west, and then it has degrees. So with it being a ship book in a book, I guess it has something to do with that. So I'm loving that already. I am big into puzzles, so this stuff, I eat this stuff up. Love it. And at the very back cover, you know how I said it was a library book? What I love is that it actually has the stamps printed in. And it's not a library book, guys. Like, this is not a book outlet like they bought it from the library. It's like legit, because it'll say like 1969 or 1970s, and it's just been checked out throughout the years. And what's cool is they have keep this book clean, because it came from Book Outlet. I'm like, is this a library book? Because I really don't buy from Book Outlet too often, but when I realized that this is actually part of the book, I am just absolutely fangirling over this. So I'm probably gonna get to this before the end of the year. I mean, I say that about probably everything I'm excited about, but seriously, this just looks like so much fun, and I'm just so happy that I was able to get my hands on it, because it is expensive. We'll see if it pans out, and I would probably recommend that if it is really good, I would probably recommend buying it new, just because you can see here they had a sticker or something over it, which I have seen in stores. It actually is sealed, so that way everything that's in the book stays in the book. So fingers crossed everything's in there, guys. Really quick, in between filming my book haul that you just watched and actually getting to editing it and posting it, I actually got one more book, and that is A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman. I saw on Twitter that this book wasn't going to be available for much longer, and because my love for Josh Malerman has been growing and growing, I decided I should pick this one up before I lose it. I also saw that Sadie, who is the mother of all horror reviewers, also really enjoyed this book, so I figured I would pick it up. It is very, very thin. I am assuming I'll get to it really quickly, I just don't know when. This book is about two teenagers, Amelia and James, that just so happen to discover this house at the bottom of the lake. So they go down just to explore and see what's in there, and it is not an empty house. It is owned by other things. It says here at the very bottom, just because a house is empty doesn't mean nobody's home. Love it. So very excited to get into this and just wanted to share it with you all. Now, on to the rest of the video. Yeah, so this is my haul. So excited. Some books I'm hoping to get to before the end of the year. Some books I know I probably won't get to until the beginning of next year, but I definitely should be set until we move into the house. So please let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you really like some of them, if some of them are not so great, let me know. Also, if you know of any other books that are like this, let me know, because I love it. Like Artemis Fowl, when I was a kid, loved that. I read 39 Clues by Rick Riordan, loved that. So any kind of books that have that mystery puzzle aspect to them, I want to know. So let me know down in the comments. Until next time, see ya.